Hello and welcome. In this video we will be going through the banquet event processes, and we will do it by creating a new banquet event reservation and going through the available functionalities there. I'll just start by selecting here to create a new reservation from the role center, and I will select the events reservation type. Of course, as a user I might have this as default, but in this case I'm just selecting the reservation type. As you may have noticed, the reservation card view changed as I selected this reservation type. That's because this reservation type has been set to display certain fields and functions that are specific to banquet orders. We get this additional menu with the features needed for banquet event orders. We got the BEO version as one of the views. We got access to the CRM functionality and the fields related to CRM. We've also got the reservation comment section, which is optional on the reservation card. Comments are often a big part of reservation details for events. Now, then we have the activity section, where you enter the actual products. That would be the room rental and so forth. And then we have the additional charges that go with the room rental that would most likely be food and beverage or rented equipment. You could also have equipment as part of the activity reservation if it's rental. Also, I've set up that we have access to the task schedule here. In a typical scenario, you could set up the tasks that need to be performed prior to, during, or after an event. It's good to have these as entries here. This would then go to the role center, where you can monitor the status of the tasks. I'm going to enter a description or name of the reservation. This is a demo sample for connection. And we're going to link it to a customer account. Normally, event reservations are linked to a customer account. You would create an invoice based on this, and we want to be able to create a quote as well. We want to be able to send the customer a quote. To do it, we must have a customer account. I also set up a salesperson who could be automatically assigned if this is linked to my user. In this case, I'm just going to select the salesperson. One more thing we need to do. If I want to use the CRM functionality, I must assign an internal contact who would be the main person to contact within our organization regarding this event. Joe Taylor is an employee here, and we select him. When we have set up the salesperson and the main internal contact, could be the same person, then we can start to use the CRM functionality. In CRM, you need an opportunity, which represents this reservation. And around that opportunity, you could have the sales cycle processes and keep track of all interaction and communication with the customer regarding this reservation. Since I want to start to keep track of the sales cycle and use the CRM features, I can either select the opportunity from a list. So if I've already been using the CRM regarding this reservation, I could link it to an opportunity, or I could just start using that for the CRM functionality. We would see the sales cycle stage from that opportunity, and we could then directly access functionality like send emails, open the opportunity, create interact, and so forth. I would also enter the total number of people here for this event. I want to send a comment. We need to set up layout as event, which might be some preset layout definition in our organization. This could be just a comment regarding dining. The reservation comments are a free text area. Then I want to select the product. In this case, I'm going to set up the meeting room. Yep, they want to have a meeting room, and in the main resource we can select which one. We'll select the main room, and we want to set up the time to 2 on the 25th, and they want the room for 4 hours. So we can see here it has preset the banquet category. We will see later on how these categories work. And we got the already assigned event room. And this is a rental which associates a charge. With this activity product, I've linked some food and beverage. These could be preset menus or menu possibilities or fixed items. I've assigned a deal called barbecue burger, which is a fixed deal. We can have it associated with or charged along with this event. Of course, you can create these deals or menus in the backend and then have various options set up, either as a preset with the activity product or as manually entered in this section here. I'm going to have a default price. They will get a 5% discount, and we can see the number in quality is already 30 because it assumes the same quantity as the number of people here. This has been set up for this product. Also, this activity product has linked up certain tasks. Preparation of the meeting room, cleaning meeting room afterwards, and so forth. These can be presets, and we can also change the time or set fixed times here. This would then be sent to the task management when we confirm this event. Other things to consider related to events. These are usually large products, so to speak, in amounts, so you might require a deposit. We can base it on a deposit schedule, deposit policy, how it's automatically populated, or you can manually enter a deposit schedule here related to this event. Another functionality might be to create a quote. And I would just create a standard Business Central quote which you could send to the customer. And this just goes through the standard Business Central mechanism. Now we can see the total cost. The cost would be the resources. In this case, we set up the cost per hour for the event room, and we have also set up the cost of the barbecue burger deal, and here we have the total cost amount for this event. We can also see from the banquet orders here the responsibility list. By default, this reservation type event assigns responsibilities based on the banquet event category code. In this case, you might have a specific employee responsible for the food and beverage part of this event. and you might have another person responsible for the meeting rooms. These can be automatically assigned here, or you could manually change it for each reservation. This means that if there's a change later for this event, the person responsible for that specific banquet category, this could be food and beverage, for example, will get a notification email to let them know that there's been a change in the order or the event. Let's say this is all good. We want to see the banquet order. This banquet order view is like a report. It's based on the banquet event categories, so it's broken into categories. In this case, agenda, food and beverage, we will see all the related contacts and the room rental. The user sets up how this looks, and then this could create a banquet event order report. When we confirm this order, we will get the first BEO version. If we drill down here, we can see a list of the versions. We only have one version now that has 11 entries and the total amount of 1,770. We could print out this report, or we could just take a look at it. Let's say we need to make a change later on. We could change the status. I could create the status editing or change of event order, or we could just change this to draft. I'm going to make the change and go to products. They wanted some more items here, so they wanted to order on the side some milk, and we want to define the selection of the barbecue burger. In this case, they wanted to select the drinks. In this case, they wanted 10 cola diet and 20 lemonades. And they wanted some desserts. 20 of those, not here, but 20 vanilla and 10 carrot cake. Basically, they defined what they're going to be needing and picking up from that menu. This is a predefined selection, and if we look at the banquet event order, now we'll see there are some changes in the order, and we see there are new items. Now, if we confirm this again, we see that now we have the BEO version 2. Have a look. We get this version history, and we see what effect it has had on the total amount. We see that we have 5 new entries. You can drill down to see which entries were added, and notice that the person responsible could be notified about all these changes. In this case, the one responsible for the food and beverage gets the notification. Otherwise, this is just like any other reservation. You can then pay the deposits according to deposit schedule, or pay this reservation through the point of sale or through the standard Business Central invoicing. Thank you. That's it.